Today's assignment is still solving equations, but it's called multi-step equations just because we're adding another step to what we were doing last week. So before we start solving equations, we need to learn or know what combined like terms means, or finding similar terms. So just as some notes, if I was to go circle, select here. If I was to circle this 2x and this 30x, the reason those are like terms is because they end in the letter X. It doesn't have to do anything with the numbers in front. It's the ending almost as a label. Okay, kind of think apples to oranges, Nike, Adidas, McDonald's, Burger King, whenever we're going through this. Okay, so other like terms would be this -6 because it has the X, 2x, 28x. Those are all like terms because they end in an X. Another type of term that I have listed out here would be these ones because they end in the letter Y, right? So there's another one over here. Doesn't matter the number in front, doesn't matter positive or negative. It's the ending, the label, that tells me whether it's a like term. The last one would be these numbers right here and right here. Okay, numbers, only numbers, no matter how big, small, positive, negative, just numbers are like terms, right? So I left one here in the middle on purpose. It's an X, so the similar one would be the other one that are X terms, so I would highlight or circle that as a red because they are all like terms. The ending is what makes it like terms. Now, the point of this exercise or these notes is my first step now is to combine like terms to simplify or make smaller of this equation before I solve it. Okay, so one step that I went through in class kind of to look here is x's and x's will go together, and then also, let's see here, number and number will go together. Okay, we'll put those together, we'll simplify it, we'll make this smaller, so then we can solve our equations just like what we did last week. All right, so continuing from what we did last week when we solve equations, I want to draw a line right down the middle. I want to make a left side and a right side. Then what I talked about in class was, just for today's purposes, because it's the first day doing this, I want to move my x's to the left, and then I want to move my numbers to the right, just so we have a set designated area. So what that means is, this x term I want to flip to the left side. So just like last week, I want to do the opposite operation. So since this is plus 4x, I'm going to go minus 4x. Now here's my like terms, what we just went over. Seeing as how this 4 ends with an x, I can combine it with this term because it ends in an x, right? So 10x minus 4x is 6x. Over here, 4x minus 4x is 0. It cancels out, right? Now, if we go back up to the top, over here I said I want numbers to the right. Well, here's a number. Opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. If I minus 2 on this side, I'm going to minus 2 on this side, right? So 2 minus 2 is 0. It's going to cancel. 8 minus 2 is 6. Now, we are back to what we did last week, what we did earlier. I basically have this new simplified or smaller equation of what we did last week. 6x equals 6. I made my equation smaller. I simplified it. I combined my like terms. So when a number and a letter are connected, that means they're being multiplied. Opposite of multiply is divide. If I divide 6 here, I divide 6 there, so that those will cancel, and x is going to equal 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, so the solving equations part stays exactly the same. The only thing that is different is that very beginning step where we combine like terms, we made things smaller, we simplified it, and then we solved. All right, one more example. Let's go to number 2. Again, first step is always line down the equal sign, and again, like today, I'm just going to set x's to this side, numbers to that side. Doesn't always have to be that way, just for today because we're starting out. So 3x is going to go to the other side. I'm going to subtract it. If I subtract it here, I'm going to subtract it there. Canceled on this side. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Okay, so now my x's is to the right, so I'm going to go to the left here. This plus 3 needs to move over here, so I'm going to go minus 3 here, minus 3 there, so plus 3 minus 3 cancels over here. 1 minus 3 is negative 2, so I'm going to go equals equals. Now I just have a simple one-step equation to what we did last week. So 2 times x, the opposite of times is divide. If I divide 2 here, I need to divide 2 there. So x is going to equal negative 2 divided by 2, negative 1. Okay, so again, solving equations is exactly the same. What we added is this combining like terms, simplifying to make a smaller equation. Okay, tomorrow we will continue with this. Today's assignment was basically 7, 8, and 9 on page 22, and you will send me a picture of it for those who have not done so already.